Within design process, there are 6 aspects. Number 1, analysis. 2, investigation. 3, research. 4, design ideas. The 4th aspect of design process is sketches and working drawings. The 5th aspect is manufacture of our project. And finally, the 6th aspect is evaluation. So the 6 aspects are analysis, investigation and research, design ideas, sketching and working drawings, the manufacturing, and finally evaluation of the whole project itself. The first aspect of analysis. To begin the first aspect of design process, analysis, we are firstly given a brief. Design an artifact which can be used to sit at while remote learning. The artifact must have maximum dimensions of 500mm by 500mm by 500mm. There also must be appropriate space to place extra learning materials on. That is our brief. To perform analysis, the best thing to do is underline the key words of our brief. Underlining the words, and in particular the key words of the brief, is an important step of analysis. So the first word or words is to sit at. While remote learning, the dimensions, and have appropriate space to place extra learning materials. So a space for extra learning materials. And there are key components of our brief. The best way to find out a definition of our brief is to type it into Google. The first word, for some of you who may not know, artifact, is an object made by a human being, typically one of cultural or historical interest. The next part of the brief is to sit at while remote learning. The best way to gain an idea or an understanding of the next line is to go into Google Images and find out what other students around the world are using to sit at while they are learning from home, which is also called remote learning. As you can see, there's some desks with laptops. There's a desk. There's tables. Over here you can see students working at a table. Another student working at their table there. So obviously, from this analysis of the brief, we can start to get the picture that it's going to be something around a table or a desk that we may have to make or manufacture. From our brief, a part that is also included in every brief for a project is our dimensions. So it's 500mm by 500mm by 500mm. From the brief, the maximum dimensions is a key aspect of our brief. So it is 500mm by 500mm by 500mm. take this in terms of its length by width by height. The height, length and width of our project is going to be 500 by 500 by 500 millimeters. From our analysis, we've come to the conclusion that it's a type of desk or table that is needed to sit at to do our remote learning. It must fit the dimensions, which is 500 mil by 500 mil by 500 mil, and then finally it must have enough space to fit extra materials. A key aspect of the brief is the dimensions. So the dimensions are 500 millimeters by 500 millimeters by 500 millimeters. The best way to look at that is get your measuring tape and get 500 millimeters, as you can see. Put it down on the ground. Since it's going to be something we're going to sit at, it's going to be a desk or a table, so there's the length and there's our depth. It's a good way to analyse our brief, the dimensions, using our measuring tape. The second step of design process is the investigation and research step. As part of design process, a key aspect of the process is investigation and research. A places where I like to go is onto Google. Here we can investigate and research anything we want. So since our brief involves something that we need to sit at for remote learning, I've looked up desktops, and here we can find out different shapes, different lengths and depths and thicknesses of desks. After using our laptop for some investigation and research, another way of doing it is looking up woodwork books. So this is something I took out of the library, so it's Collins Complete Woodwork Manual. This is a book where we can get some images of desktops, and it's a great source of investigation and research. Another way of researching is our sketch pads, which we use in class for our sketching while we do our homework and class exercises. Another part, and a great part of investigation and research, is actually looking at furniture and using our measuring tape. So since we have 500 millimeters, that's our dimension. Here we can see that this will actually fit. The height of this coffee table can be used for a desk or a table for remote learning. Looking around our house is a great research method and a great aspect of design process. Included in our brief was where we had to have enough space on our desk or our table to fit both our extra materials and our laptop or tablet. So obviously being able to visualize how we can do this by using real life furniture is a great use of investigation and research. We're using multiple sources of investigation and research. A great way of bringing all our material together is by brainstorming. So put table in the middle or desk, and as you can see I've put function, structure, form, the cost of the material, style, materials we're going to use, its users, so that's going to be us because we're remote learning at home, and location. So obviously where is it going to be in our homes? It's going to be in our rooms, in kitchens or living rooms. Another part of our investigation and research is what joints we're going to use for our design ideas and eventually our project. From class we've many joints covered. We've butt joints, lap joints, halving joints, edge-to-edge joints, housing joints, mortise and tenon joints. This is a key one for our desk. As you can see, this book has all the images of how to mark it out, what tools to use, and the different types of mortise and tenon. Now bridle joints, which also can be used for our table, and dowel joints. And finally, dovetail joints can be a decorative feature. Incorporating wood joints into our project is a crucial part of our brief. From this book that I got in the library, we have a chapter on designing in wood. The next stage of design process is our design ideas. So I went onto the internet and I looked up some makers from around the world on desks. So here we have Jose Espino, George Nakashima, Kurt Ostervig, Louis Brigham and Robert Jan Cloutier. I photocopied these images, which will give me inspiration for future sketching ideas. I've also looked up my book, which you can see I have some sketches and images which will help me in my future sketching. After using the internet to come up with some design ideas, and also from looking around my own home and even in the classroom, these ideas are something that struck me and have inspired me. So therefore, as I said previously, I took images, I printed them and stuck them into my design copy. Here's some myself sketching some ideas, some freehand sketches. From design ideas, we now move straight into the next stage, stage 4, which is sketches. And here is some examples of my sketches. I used the idea in relation to spirals and cones to form sketches in relation to the topic. With multiple choices of sketches coming, I'm now beginning to get a picture of what I want. I formed design idea 1, including the pros and the cons, design idea 2, pros and cons, and also design 3, pros and cons. Very well graphically laid out. Similar projects, as you can see, the legs are different. I've also included the species of timber that I'm using, as you can see, elm and beech. After a lot of sketching and design ideas, I've came to my final design. I've chosen walnut and beech as my species of timber, and I've broken the design into 2 components, the legs and the top. As you can see, I'm using finger joints as my joint type. I've listed my types of machines and tools I need for the project, how it's going to be fixed, and the whole orientation of the table. And here we are with the final design. As you can see, it fits the dimensions within the brief, which is a crucial part of the brief. With our design ideas going well, and now we have our sketch, we also have our final design. So the next part will be manufacture the project and then evaluate. But firstly, we'll have to get all our materials to both manufacture and evaluate our project. So therefore, I've brought you along the design process as far as manufacture. This should aid everyone in beginning design process as a topic in wood technology.